Hey, howdy, friends. It's Steve DePaul here again with the Rose Realty Team with this week's real estate vlog for North Texas. Hey, today we're going to talk about tech trends in real estate and how technology has helped us in the real estate business, and has also helped, frankly, helped your home, you and your home, through technology. So let's get started. Hey, so the obvious one, it's kind of been around. I'm going to say the longest has been a digital signature, right? That's been around for, I don't know, I'm going to say probably 15 to 20 years. That'd be something like Dot Loop or DocuSign. We happen to use DocuSign in our business. But that's where, obviously, if you've bought or sold a house recently, or even done a lot of other things, frankly, in the last 5 or 10 years, whoever wants your signature will send you this DocuSign or a dot loop link. You'll go in, you'll fill out maybe some personal information so that they know it's you. And then you'll create a signature and you'll just go page by page by page. You don't really have the opportunity that much to read through the document, but probably or hopefully your real estate agent at that point has gone through the documents with you and you know what you're signing, right? But DocuSign or Dot Loop allows the agent and the client to do their business without having to necessarily get together and maybe have the agent travel, an hour or so or more. Hey, I've had closings where the buyers have been in other states, so this prevents that from being an issue, and makes everybody's life just a little bit easier. Hey, then we're talking about 360 or 3D or virtual tours. This is great again. So if you're in this for in my business or our business, helps us in two specific areas. So if you're not in the state, okay, so if you live in Ohio, you want to move to North Texas. I can, what I'll do for my clients is I'll go there and say, hey, I'll do a walkthrough, a virtual kind of FaceTime or a virtual walkthrough with them, so they can get to see a little bit more than just the pictures on MLS, and then they can have a better idea of what the house looks like and whether they might be interested or not. Kind of funny. Just before Texas kind of closed down everything in, I guess it was April or so of 2019, I was doing open houses. Okay. And so what I started doing was something that I called virtual open houses, which was, you could kind of dial in to this Facebook, event, I guess it was, and you could ask questions or let me see the upstairs and that kind of thing. I got to this point where I had to do a lot of prep work before that, but I did like 6 virtual open houses in one Saturday afternoon. That was a trip, but it was also a lot of fun. I think I set a record. But so anyway, virtual tours and 3D tour walkthroughs and stuff are getting more and more popular. Hey, before we go any further, if you could do our team a favor here and go to YouTube, go to at Moving to Dallas, Texas, and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This will, of course, benefit us. We'll have more subscribers and more viewers, etc. But also it'll help you in that anytime we put up some new content on our YouTube channel, you'll be one of the first ones to know. You'll get a notice saying, "Hey, there's a new document, a movie or film or whatever on the Moving to Dallas channel." And many times that'll be, a video of a house that we just listed, or it would be something educational like one of these vlogs, or you'll also then be able to go back and say, hey, that vlog we saw about what are the steps in buying a house. I want to go see that again. Well, you'll be able to do that. So anyway, you go to youtube.com at moving to Dallas, Texas. Like and subscribe. We thank you for doing that, and we appreciate you and your time. Next on our technology trends, drones. I happen to love drones. We have two of them we use in our business. I'm a licensed drone pilot. And they're really good in that you're able to scope out the whole neighborhood and instead of just seeing the pictures that are on MLS, right? What I tend to do with my drones, with the drone stuff, is number one, take aerial photos. Okay, so you get you get a little bit more than just the ground level kind of stuff. But also I'll put together video. And those videos really help in that you get to see the surrounding areas. So if if the backyard faces a construction zone or industrial area or something like that, you'll see that that it's maybe not as desirable as you think, and maybe you won't waste your time on that house. So it is valuable. It's a valuable tool for both the real estate agent in showing off the house, and for the potential buyer or client, and to see the overall grand picture of what this house looks like, and the surrounding areas. Advanced data analytics tools are kind of really neat. Prior to joining real estate, I was involved in something called Internet of Things, and this was where, with the company that I worked for, we started utilizing the data that companies have been collecting for decades, and to see what that data meant. Okay, now, in collecting some of that data, what we're able to see is this particular neighborhood in this particular town, the prices or the numbers seem to be declining in terms of house value, for example, which meant that maybe there's something going on in that neighborhood, where maybe it's an older neighborhood, the values are declining, and maybe that's not the best area that you want to move into. At the same time, maybe it's an area that investors may want to look at, and say, hey, we can buy a couple of houses here sort of on the cheap, and we can fix them up and kind of revitalize the neighborhood. But what this data does, this collection of this data and the analytics, allows both the agent and the potential buyer or client kind of see what's going on in that neighborhood, so that they could tell, hey, this is a neighborhood for us. Maybe prices continue to increase or prices are declining, and then you can make a further knowledge about that neighborhood, and whether it's a place you want to be in. Smart home devices. Hey, I kind of love smart home devices. We've got a lot of these devices in our house, in terms of turning lights on and off. We've got cameras around the house for security, that kind of stuff. So this is kind of twofold. This is, number one, benefits the homeowner, in that, like I said, turning lights on and off, and maybe some added security. But it's also a warning, sort of, has to come with a showing that says, hey, you may be on video or audio when we walk into that house, so we have to be careful. Not to be standing at the kitchen counter saying, man, this house stinks. We don't want to be doing that, and then potentially insult the homeowner. A lot of this equipment nowadays is rather inexpensive. You can get it off of places like Amazon or Ring, those kinds of places. And then there's at least a dozen or so companies that make wall switches for lights, or plugs for the wall. And if you can basically connect them all through your Wi-Fi, and then the smart app on your phone, or a panel on your iPad or something like that. So it kind of adds to, like I say, kind of adds to security. And they're also kind of fun to play with. So there you go. And then lastly, artificial intelligence. This is sort of interesting because, today everyone's slapping the label artificial intelligence onto stuff. But what this particular applications like this kind of do is if you're searching for, let's say I'm searching for a particular type of house for a client, 2 to 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 3-car garage, blah, 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 and I'm focusing on one particular neighborhood because that's where they want to be. Artificial intelligence kind of will analyze what I'm looking for and kind of say, okay, you're kind of looking just over here in Denton, but did you know these types of houses with these sort of specifications also exist in North Fort Worth, as an example? And so here's a bunch of houses listed with those same specifications in North Fort Worth. So it's sort of like, remember back in the day, back in like 2001 or two, when you would go out on Amazon, and it still happens today with Amazon, but back then when they were only selling books, you'd go there and like find a book or two and put it in your shopping cart, and then at the bottom it would say, hey, people who bought these books also bought these books here, so that was a form of intellectual artificial intelligence at that time as well. And it kind of benefited you to say, well, I'm looking for a book on okay, so what was I looking for a book on? Probably process reengineering, by Hammer. And they would also say, well, people bought this book, but also bought this book, this book as well. Okay, so interesting stuff. And finally, I think after decades and decades and decades of fooling around with computers and collecting data and that kind of jazz, we're finally starting to put it to use to make people's lives easier. So it's all good. I hope you kind of enjoyed that. Hey, next week we're going to talk about luxury real estate trends in North Texas. Hope you stay tuned for that, and maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll help both of us. This is Steve. I am with the Rose Realty Team. So long.